It was definitely, obviously, an uphill battle. Like, I've had bad days, but this is the happiest I've been by a long shot. Hi, my name is Sydney. This is Pearl, and I have another dog, Ella, who is out running around right now, and this is our van.
This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Click the link in the description below to save 10% off and build yourself a beautiful website or a store and make your presence online beautiful.
So I grew up in Indianapolis, Indiana for the first 18 years of my life, and we did not travel. I had never left the country or even really gone anywhere in our own country. I wanted to go to college, and so I went to Chicago, lived there for 4 years. I had a great experience, but the last 2 years I was working like 70 hours a week while going to school full time. It was really overwhelming. My goal was to get out of that. My goal was to escape it and get to something that would actually feel fulfilling. I found van life online and then started kind of gearing my money and finances and everything towards being able to get to the dream. That's was the end goal, was just like get on the road. I didn't care if it was a mattress and a cooler. I didn't care if it was a truck, a van, or anything. But then after saving my money for so long, I just got what I was able to get. I had a Sprinter before this one, and I was actually with a partner in the first van. After 8 months, we went our separate ways, and then I ended up getting my second van. And so I financed the van for $24,000. The build was an additional 20, and then, yeah. All right, so this is my Ford Transit. It's a 2017 148-inch wheelbase, and it has a high roof on it. So it is the highest option out of all of the sizes. There are some bumps and bruises that have definitely been caused by me. This is mostly just like going down roads that I probably should not be going down, like 4x4 dirt roads. But yeah, that's part of the fun. 2 rear windows here, which I have Van Made Gear is the name, window covers, and they work like a charm. I had a blanket hanging up for about 1.5 years, and I had a recent upgrade of the actual window covers, which look a lot nicer. This is how I fill up water. So I have a key. I just put in the key, twist this, and then I have a little port where I can stick a funnel and put in my water jugs. It makes it very easy. I have an 11-gallon tank in there, and yeah, I only fill up like maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks. I have 4 100-watt panels up there. They're Renogy. I've had Renogy on both vans, and I absolutely love them. And then also up there is a fantastic vent fan, which I've had a different experience with. I definitely recommend doing a little bit of research. Max Air is a great option, and I would probably do that over if I could. So I have all of my scrunchies up here, my masks right here for what's going on, an external hotspot that I use for internet. I keep it up here because it gets the most connection up front versus being in a metal box in the back. And I have almost 123,000 miles on the van, and I bought it with 65,000 miles, so we have done some good damage in 2 years. All right, this is the van, the home, the place. When you first walk in, you see the vanity area where I can get ready. If I do want to do my hair or my makeup or something for anything, I can do that here. I like having a designated spot for that. It's pretty nice. Next to that, I have my pocket door, which I can lock with a little lock right here. And then I can also lock it on the other side to stay open while I'm driving. Good for safety and making me sleep better at night, but I also love having this because not being able to see the front of my van when I'm just like in bed or working or anything, it makes me feel more like I'm actually in a home or an apartment or like a little space that's not a car. I do use every ounce of storage in my van that I possibly can. So all of my winter hats, gloves, and scarves go up here. I have more hair accessories right here, and then to the left is more of like my summer hats, just like baseball caps and stuff like that. Because Ella is the only person that ever rides in the passenger seat, I can move her seat up a little bit, and then I have extra storage behind that seat as well, which is where I keep all of my shoes in a simple little shoe organizer thing that you can get at like any kind of store. We didn't know what to do with this side of things. We didn't want to put tile there because of the pocket door, and then we saw the corrugated metal one day just like laying outside. They had just redone the roof, and so we put part of that on here. You really can't have many bottles of wine in a van. I live on boxed wine because it can't break, it can't shatter, and the less glass, the better. Speaking of, it's a great segue to the induction stove. This broke actually not that long ago. I was on a horrible road and a mason jar fell and it shattered. So I have been using a butane stove, which is like really cheap. It's a great option actually if you don't want to pull the amount of power that an induction stove uses. Then I definitely recommend like a propane or butane. They're super easy, so I've been using that as well. Down below here, I have a cutting board that is easily removable to clean, and then I also have storage underneath of that. And it fits in there perfectly. You just make that like custom for your drawer. Below my cutting board, I have the electrical hub here where I have my inverter, the 2 AGM batteries, both 95 amp hour. If you have the budget to go with lithium right off of the bat, they're worth it. And then I have an isolator in there as well. This is my control panel. So each one of these is to a different set of lights. I can flip on just the kitchen or just the main cab area, and kind of just use the amount of electricity that I need to be using so I don't burn out my batteries. And then this last one is for my 12-volt water pump. So that's how I turn on my water. When I was shopping for the fridge, I was really running low on budget. And so I ended up buying a 110 volt, which has worked wonderfully. I recently damaged my batteries, which was my fault, but before that, this worked perfectly fine. And now I just turn it off sometimes at night. And I actually have a separate freezer as well. Have this little fold down table. If I've made coffee, I'll usually make it right here. Below the table is my vent for the fridge, and it's very important to vent out your fridge just to get more airflow and so you don't overfreeze anything. All 3 of these drawers are simple kitchen storage. Most of the stuff down below is for my dogs. And then I have a 12-volt pump, and that is what will run my water. Above this, I have all of my mason jars that do not usually fall. This little lip is wider than you would think. And so, yeah, I just squeeze everything in here really tightly. And so they're kind of compact, and then alongside with the lip, they do just fine. Except for when you're on a bad road and they want to break an induction stove. Other than that, we're great. I also have this fruit hammock. It just saves kitchen storage. It's kind of difficult because when you're driving on a harsh road, it swings and then you can like bust a banana on the tile, but it's worth it because it saves like an entire drawer's worth of space. This is real tile. I really wanted to buy some kind of tile from my hometown in Indiana, so it's unique and a little bit different than most in vans. This is my bed area. It is almost a king size, so I bought a queen sized mattress and cut it up for the benches and all of that, but it was actually not big enough, so we had to get extra foam, making it almost a king size bed. I do not use my benches and table mode very often, so I've actually designated the center storage here to a few things. I have like my yoga mat, a skateboard. I usually have a cassette toilet down there so I can easily pull it out at night, along with like hiking things that I want to store but also have easily accessible whenever I need it. My bench on this side is more for clothing that is not really in season, while my other bench is used more for like paddleboard, outdoor, yeah, kind of that big stuff. The benches stopped where we still had some extra space during the build, so we added 2 bookshelves, and this is my dining room table. On BLM, which is like free camping land, there's often not picnic tables, almost never. And so this kind of offers me a place to sit and work or eat. If I'm camping with friends, there's several people that can fit at this table and we can all have dinner together at an actual table, which is nice, especially if I can pull up right to the campfire and we can all sit here and eat right next to a fire. So starting on this side, this is where I keep like my socks, leggings, underwear, all of the under things. You'll also see like my camera in here because all of my soft stuff is in here and I know that it won't fall out of this cabinet. This is extremely well organized clothing, as you can tell. Same goes for this side. That's what always happens every single time. So my control panel for all of my lights is up near my fridge, and so it's really nice at night to be able to turn all of that off and then just turn on these lights so that I can read or sit on my phone or do whatever I want, and not have to crawl across the entire bed to turn it off. I can just do this and then roll over and go to sleep. Last but not least, all of my podcasting gear And so my microphone is here. I have a Polaroid camera, GoPro, like my headphones and stuff like that in this one as well. So this is more electronic based. Other ones are for clothing. This again is like everyday things. I think it's really important to keep all of this stuff up top, what you use the most, because it's easiest to get. The books that I'm currently reading, along with the journals that I'm currently writing in, and then some of our favorite treats for the dogs, and all of my coffee making things. I really wanted to go for like modern, rustic, like barn type thing. I actually just went into Home Depot and I saw this, and it wasn't very expensive, and I loved the way that it looked. My builders actually doubted me on it, and they thought they were gonna end up having to paint it, but as soon as we put it up, we all loved it, and I loved the way that it turned out, and so we kept it how it was. I really wanted a sky roof, and my builders were not sure at the time how to do that. They were family friends, they had never built a van before, and so it was just kind of too risky. And so I was like, well, if I can't look at the sky through the window, I'm just gonna paint my ceiling blue and make it look like the sky. And so that was kind of a next step. And then it wasn't until I was living in the van and photographing the van and, you know, seeing what it really looked like, that I kind of fell in love with it being blue, and it's become like a staple part of the look of the van, is like a blue ceiling. It's an incomparable level of independence. Like, I don't have anyone at any point. When I get my van stuck in the mud, like, that's on me. When my dog is sick, that's on me. I'm having a bad day, that's on me. Like, and then you know, you hike a mountain and that's on you. Like, you did this thing by yourself. And so yeah, I have never experienced independence the way that I have the last 2 years. I think my biggest message is just that anyone can do this. You don't need a lot of money. You can have dogs, you can have cats, you can be a woman, you can be a man, you can be anything. It doesn't matter how much money you make, how much money you have made. I am a girl from Indiana who does not come from a family with a lot of money. I did go to college, I have student loans, I don't make a ton of money now. I'm still doing this, and so I just feel like, just because something looks glamorized, and I'm guilty of doing that myself, and I also believe in those glamorized moments, like those moments exist in my life and I love them, like that just doesn't mean that it's unattainable for anyone. Like, any person of any age or anything else can do this.
Thanks for watching this week's episode on Sydney. I hope you enjoyed it. And as you know, Sydney is a digital nomad, as many of us are who are living life on the road. And if you're going to be a digital nomad, then you need a website. And luckily, today's video is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is the all-in-one platform that you need to have a presence online and make it look beautiful. It's got templates so that you can build your website very easily. You don't need to know anything about coding or web design. It's all built into the platform. It's got an e-commerce store ready to use. So if you've got products to sell or anything that you want to move, merch, whatever, it's built into the platform. And you can even purchase your domain through it, and it automatically makes a beautiful mobile website, so you don't have to worry about what device your web viewers are viewing your website on. Squarespace has you covered. It's everything you need. So click the link in the description below and get 10% off of your first purchase of a domain or website using code FLORB. Now have a great week.